I bet with Interbet only. They're a fantastic site. I've never had any issues with them. They are very professional. There's never a problem. You deposit money, 2 seconds later it's in your account. You withdraw, which I do very occasionally, and I believe it's also 2 seconds it's in your account.
I like the way this race is named, the Independent on Saturday, Then and Now Maiden Plate, because as we know, when it comes to media, it's then and now, it's hard copies and online, so every industry is transformed while the world has just gone to a different place in no time. This is over 1,200 meters. You need to get your place accumulator bet on at 12:15. And before we get into some form analysis, let's go into the interviews. Vaughan Marshall, Dean Kannemeyer, and Michael Roberts.
Yeah, Raheel, he's done very well since his last start. You know, he was a little tardy out the gate, so we took him back the other day, and he jumped out very well. His work's been good, and I think he'll run a very big race.
Yeah, you know, obviously he hasn't been to Greyville, but he's a fifth horse. He's a nice type of horse. He's out of that, you know, good Mystique Spring female line, you know, and he's going around the Spring Lilac I trained, and wonderful female line. He's a nice type of horse, and he's also still growing, but he's ready for his first run. And, you know, if he doesn't get lost, which can happen first timers, you know, going around the turn, it's always tricky. They just don't know where they are. It's a big field. But I was a type of horse, if he handles it, I could include him in the exotics.
Yes, he's a nice horse. You know, also, you know, once again, you know, I don't expecting, you know, to be in the money, but, you know, so long they run respectable, I'll be happy. Yes, he's probably the fastest of the two. You know, he has shown me a little bit of speed at home, but not drawn that well. So, you know, once again, you know, we're hoping for improvement.
I must say, after these interviews, my eyes are lighting up, because nice to hear some confidence coming through from the trainers. And Vaughan Marshall, well, you can't get more confident than he could have been in that interview with Professor Lupin. And just judging by those interviews that you did, that was possibly the best comment in this race.
Yes, most definitely, Dees. And I remember Vaughan Marshall also, before this individual's debut run, he did mention if you manage to get a gallop into this horse, then he'd make him the horse to beat. And he ran like he just needed the run. He was quite green, and he was making late headway in the day, 2 lengths behind Hansa Road. And I think if he had that racing experience, I think he would have certainly won the race. He's got the run under the belt now. Besides all the negatives going into the race, he was still supported. He still went off as favourite, and he's got a good draw going around the turn for the first time. And I think that Professor Lupin, he's going to be hard to beat in this lineup. His siblings, all of them were sprinters. We saw Shyfolia win the other day. She won over 1,200 meters. Sky Glitter, Mirage, The Bull, all horses that have done well over sprinting trips. So I think number 4, Professor Lupin, he's a horse that they all have to beat here. He's definitely a banker in the place accumulator for me. The only other runner that sort of brings in steady form, that's number 7, Lincoln Navigator. But he's had 3 runs to date, and he's had every opportunity to perhaps go on with the effort and get it right. I think he could prefer 1,400 meters. I just feel these Denon Platinas, they just tend to be better over the 14, and once you step them up in trips. So I think he's a horse to include into trifectas and quartets. But even the comment regarding number 5, Raff's Rocket, was pleasing from Dean Kannemeyer, because you could see that he does think a bit of this horse, and he's a horse that could run a nice race on debut. So I wouldn't be surprised if Raff's Rocket was the immediate danger to number 4, Professor Lupin.
Yeah, this horse, Lincoln Navigator, well, I kept a very close eye on racing on Thursday, because that Zenovi form line was well represented, and Just Far came out to run 3rd. And the disappointment was, as always, Dreamland. I think it was in race number 1, finished somewhere behind a horse that was heavily supported called Gimme Another Chance. So that form line certainly hasn't worked out just yet for number 7, Lincoln Navigator, but maybe it's a different course, it's a different environment. It's got the services of a jock that's won many feature races at Hollywoodbets Greyville, so that could be the only danger. But I really like the comments coming through from Vaughan Marshall about number 4, Professor Lupin. I don't think the turn will be an issue. He's nicely drawn at 4. He's got the man that's in form up, and just with natural improvement from one run to the next, he looks like part in this field. The one horse that I'll just keep an eye on with regards to pedigree is number 3, Cosmic Rhythm, because he's a half brother to Happy Chance and Under Trois, so he may be looking for a bit further, but the dam she won 4 times from 1,000 up to 1,600 meters. And just keep an eye on Imperial Power, currently at around 20-1 from pole position. The dam she was good, Mother Folk, she won 5 times, and I think from a mile up to 2,000 meters. So if this is on the sharp side for him, maybe one to pencil in for future. But we're in agreement here. We're going to banker that Marshall runner in the PA at least. That should be good enough for the PA number 4.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. These number 4, Professor Lupin for me as well.
Professor Lupin, a banker in the PA. If you're looking for one more, then maybe the obvious horse, number 7, Lincoln Navigator. So everything's going according to plan. Looks like the favorites in the respective races thus far look the part, and we're hoping that they will deliver.
My name's Danny Di Liberto, founder of Ladles of Love. It was founded back in 2014. Communities we work with are all over the peninsula, and we're working with 138 beneficiaries now. We've grown exponentially. We've been able to do that because of all the kindness that we have experienced from individuals and corporates such as Interbet, who just want to be part of the change.